Thank you, Stephanie. Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for being here. You know, it's the challenge to get everybody here and attend, but we will convene this regular Board of County Commissioner meeting. Today is Thursday, July 11th, in Collier County Centennial Building in Cripple Creek. Wonderful morning in the summer here. It's going to be a little hot today, but otherwise, I think all things are good. We will start the meeting with invocation led by Commissioner Stone, and then our 4-H group will lead us in the pledge. We'll then to the rest of our agenda items.
All right, everybody rise and please move your hats. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this day. We thank you for this tremendous county that we live in and this beautiful state. And today, Father, we are reminded of the importance of the tutelage of our youth, raising children, raising them to understand and respect where the food comes from, understand the rewards of hard work and the joys of camaraderie and fellowship that they have working together. Father, we just ask that you bless these proceedings and guide us in your way. See you saying amen. Amen.
And to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. All right, first up on our agenda, we have some minutes from the previous meeting of June 18th. I did have one correction on my board report on page 2. I think it mentions I went to the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments. You should be in Pikes Peak Workforce Center executive board meeting.
And I have reviewed, Mr. Chairman, and outside that, I have no other corrections.
All right, what could be your choice on that?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the minutes of the proceedings of the Board of County Commissioners in Collier County, Colorado, dated June 18th, 2024, as amended.
Thank you, sir. So, there's discussion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Stone.
Oh, second.
Yes, we're right.
Mr. Stone.
Yes.
Mr. Hill.
Yes. Yep. And before we continue, Commissioner Dan Williams is en route to NACO, which is National Association of Counties, and he's representing Colorado and Colorado Commissioner Association on our public lands committee today, and he's always quite a voice in that committee. And once a year, the public lands group makes that trip to Washington, D.C. to lobby and meet with people with BLM and Forest Service and some of the federal agencies that deal with public lands. So he'll be there for a couple of days, and he's excused from this meeting officially. So that covered. I think next up we have accounts payable.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I've reviewed. I know you probably have a couple of comments, but I have no comments.
Okay, I just like to point out, I typically point out some large expenditures. We have our sales tax in there for 349,000 and change. We've got a couple construction projects going on at the jail, and Southern Health Partners has $155,000 and change on that one. And Kugel Group, which is acting as our contractor to redo the control center inside the jail to retrofit that, which was approved last year, and the budget process for 169,000. I think that would be the accounts fairly significant accounts payable on this
Yeah,
time.
bigger than average number, but when you've got some projects going on and have a couple of big bills coming in, it does pop up. So this time, Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the accounts payable dated July 8th, 2024, in the amount of $1,527,047.62 as presented.
Thank you, sir. I'll second that motion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Stone.
Yes.
Mr. Hill.
Yes. And the next up, we will go with Commissioner Stone, Commission Board Report.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. First off, just want to start off with what a fabulous stay holiday here in Collier County. I think I had to in record crowds in Woodland Park. I was over at Memorial Park for the events there. Had the great pleasure and pain of being in the dump and went in about 40 times, and so I don't know if any of you were responsible for that, but it was a lot of fun regardless. We raised a lot of money for Mighty Mountain Explorers, but I think the overall numbers of people that were available there, are not available, but they came out there. If it wasn't a record, it had to have been close to a record. I don't know if anybody even keeps track. Maybe we need to get a drone and fly it over and count heads, but there was a ton of people all day long. Tremendous concert afterwards, held at the park. I was had reservations about whether it would work to transition over immediately from the old fashioned fourth into the concert, but it seemed to work really, really well, and people seemed to really enjoy it. And great fireworks show here in Cripple Creek, and just what a tremendous day. Great time was had by all. And on the business side of stuff, though, we did hold a pretty major Pike Peak Area Council of Governments meeting yesterday. That meeting was held in a different location due to some work being done on the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments building on their HVAC system. So we were over at Centennial Hall at El Paso County, where their county commissioners hold their meetings, and got to see what the big leagues are like over there. Because they've got a pretty big room. But that being said, we did have a good meeting. One of the outcomes, or likely outcomes of that meeting, though, is I'm going to be changing positions on the executive committee there. Colorado Springs changed who their representation is on the board or on the executive board of PPACG, and have replaced Dave Donaldson, who was on that committee. So we have a new person coming in, and so we're going to see a slight shuffle. So I might be moving from treasurer to second vice chair, just for consistency of leadership of that board. And then it was proposed that Mayor Kelly Case of Woodland Park come in and be nominated as the new treasurer because of her tremendous financial background, formerly with the city of Woodland Park. So we're expecting to see some changes there. But outside of that, one of the big things at that meeting was they went over the long-term plan for what they call the active pathways, or it's not streets, but basically there's a plan with PPACG for the entire metropolitan planning region, which includes the city of Woodland Park, about the non-traditional modes of transportation and pathways. And one of those includes a path or a trail that would, parts of it are already there, but would go all the way from Manitou Springs all the way up to Woodland Park and connect with the Centennial Trail in Woodland Park. And parts of that are already in place, but it's kind of a long-term look, and it's a document that local governments can use and then apply for grant funds or to use it in their own planning. The PPACG doesn't do any of these things, but we do approve plans for them. But there's some neat plans in the future for the Pikes Peak region and the way that these trails potentially can interconnect. So that was kind of cool. Outside of that, because of the fourth holiday, a lot of the other meetings didn't happen since our last meeting. So I think I will probably cut it off at that. But again, just really happy that we had a safe 4th of July, despite the tens of thousands of people that came to Teller County over the 4th. We didn't have any wildfires. We did have some campfires that weren't totally put out. I think they announced somewhere in the neighborhood of 87 campfires that were not fully extinguished over the 4th of July holiday. And we want to thank our fire districts and their volunteers for going out and looking for, those not dead out campsites. And that's probably a lesson that you guys at 4-H already know. Every campfire has to go dead out. Got to make sure that it's cool to the touch before you leave it, because as winds come up and sun comes out and things heat up, something that appeared to be out that wasn't cool to the touch can spark back up and start a wildfire. So again, I know you guys already know that, but it's great for our residents to hear it in the morning. And that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Stone. I too might have a abbreviated report. I was lucky enough, I actually had a real vacation the last couple of weeks, and I've been out of the country. So it's been nice to take that little mental break there. Catching up on boards this week, meeting with Community Partnership and Pikes Peak Workforce Center, and at a meeting with CTSI, or insurance group that I help serve on. Other than that, I'm absent. But thank you all for covering for me when I was on vacation for a couple of weeks. Haven't done that in quite a few years, other than a few days at a time, but this time it took a couple of weeks. So
I understand you got to spend some time with your adult children, so that's gotta be a blessing, I'm sure.
It was, both adult children chipped in and joined us on our trip for 12, 14 days, so it was great to see. All right, next up, we have elected officials report. Carol, you have anything?
Nothing today, I'll save it.
I don't know if we have any other elected officials in the room.
Just one, am I right?
Stephanie?
I do have a couple of things.
Okay.
The election is officially closed. We had a small turnout of 26%. But everything is ready. We're getting ready to roll on with the next November election. Gearing up, we also are, I'm very excited to announce that the fraud guard, the property guard feature in the clerk recorder's office is available. So people can locate that link on our website. You basically go and create an account. And you can put in criteria such as name or physical address. Basically what it does is it will monitor activity that might happen to the property listed. So it's just a way for the community to be able to see if anybody activity, fraudulent activity has or is taking place on your property. So we're proud to offer that at no cost to the community. So just go on and sign up. That's all we have.
Yeah, and if I may, sure, Mr. Chair, and for the press, this is actually a very big deal. This program that Kirk Keys has brought to the residents. And correct me if I misspeak on this, but there's a lot of scams out there, and of course, in the world of social media and videos and YouTube and all of that, is that the scammers of the world are now going out and going after your property, and they do so by attempting to transfer property out of your name by filing for a fraudulent quitclaim deed, for example, or something like that. And sometimes those, despite the best efforts of counties to make sure that it's correct, sometimes it actually can't happen where somebody transfers or attempts to transfer property out of your name into somebody else's name. And the unwinding process is not something that anybody wants to try to go through. And protecting our property is, of course, core to one of the government's responsibilities. So this new program allows residents to sign up for kind of similar like you would do with your own credit check and credit reports, to where somebody can be able to be flagged when there's activity in your credit report. This is a system, correct me if I'm wrong, it kind of flags you if there's activity on your private property report through the clerk's office.
Yes.
Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Great. So, and we can get more information from the clerk's office, but it's really important, and I'm really happy you're able to do this at no cost. That's great. Thank you. So, only comment I have, Mr. Chair.
All right, I'm not seeing any other elected officials in the room. Okay, do I have everybody? Okay. Next up, we have county administrator's report. Mr. Herzog.
Thank you, sir. I'll keep it short, but making tremendous progress over at the Florissant Community Park. You'll see upgrades over at our county fair facility, as well as we start looking at long-term phases of what that looks like for the future. We make enhancements. Right now, at going in the half-year mark, we are assessing all our budgets, just looking at numbers. So as we look at major projects of sewer expansion and getting the wastewater facility and divide upgraded towards with CDPHE in compliance, as well as looking at all of our facilities to at some point get out of debt with rent. So rent debt, long-term visions. So that's all, sir. Michelle would be appropriate to announce Darian, our new CSU director, that we're very excited to have aboard.
Michelle Wolf, Charlotte County Public Health and Environment Director, and I would like to introduce our new CSU Director, Darian Katz. It's all yours.
Morning, sir. Welcome.
Hi, good morning, Board of Commissioners. Good morning, Mr. Herzog. Good morning, Mr. Burkham. I've met a couple of you in person in passing. Some of you I haven't met and shaking your hand yet, but I hope to do that soon. And I'm just excited to be on board. I'm excited to be on board. I started late June, so most of my work has been just meeting people, getting out, meeting 4-Hers, meeting people in the community. So I'm excited, and we're going to turn it over to the 4-Hers in a few minutes.
Awesome. Well, welcome on board, Darren. And I'm one of the people, I haven't shaken your hand yet, but I'll do so after the meeting today, but welcome on board. I know that commissioners as well as our entire community is very supportive of our 4-H kids and all of our ag programs that you're going to be managing. So we appreciate you coming on board and welcome to Tyler County.
Thank you. Yep, I'm excited to be here, and I'll be reaching out to the Board of Commissioners after this, after the fair season is over. Super busy season for us right now, but I would love to meet with you in the future and learn about your vision and your plans for how CSU Extension can support 4-H and other programs in the community.
Thank you.
Luckily, I was involved and honored to be a part of the interview process, but I'd just like to personally say thank you so much for joining the team here, and we look forward to the relationship and the work you're able to do in the future on all the extension and CSU programs that you're able to administer, and welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Do we have any department heads that would have a report? Anybody else in the room? Go ahead, Michelle.
So I also want to introduce our new county event coordinator, Melissa Orm.
Can I come up?
Sure, you can just.
Okay. Hello, as Michelle said, my name is Melissa Orm. I am the new events coordinator, county events coordinator, helping a lot with 4-H. I've been a volunteer with 4-H and excited to learn all of the county aspects and their all of the events and see how I can help and assist.
Wonderful. Well, welcome on board, and we're glad to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining the team. I appreciate it so much, and I'm glad you made it here today.
Thank you.
Any other directors, department heads that have a report? Let's see if that's in the room at the moment. All right. Next up, we have time reserved for public that don't have items on the agenda. Don't have an appointment later on in the agenda. Any public without an appointment? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to our next item. And that's the reason most of you are here today is we have a presentation from 4-H. Ladies and gentlemen, who would like to join us at the podium and make a presentation, I think you're ready to do so.
Yes. If I could have Abby and the other kiddos that participated in the Rural Action Project. Abby's going to do a little presentation. I just want to read a message from Mildred Davis. Who's not able to join us today. Unfortunately, she really wanted to be here, but she essentially going to say she shared. I'll let you in. That one. So, Hildred said, "My name is Hildred Davis, and I have been involved in Teller County 4-H for over 50 years and need to share the importance of our 4-H program. 4-H builds our members into leaders for tomorrow, one little step at a time. I've been a club leader on the fair board for over 30 years and still active on the foundation and project leader for club events, cake decorating, quilting, creative sewing, and clothing constructing. In those projects, I help about 14 to 16 members. It's exciting to watch each member grow. Thank you for your support and for giving us the opportunity to share. Thank you, Hildred."
That's very nice. I've known Hildy for many years, and she shepherded both my kids through some 4-H projects back in the day. So thank you so much for presenting.
All right. Okay. Hi, my name is Abby Sacco. This is my 7th year here in Teller County 4-H, and I put together a little slideshow about what we did with our Rural Action Project. So that was the grant we got from the CSU Extension to do things in our community to make our community a better place. So this is kind of about the community values we decided on and how that influenced our RAP project. So first off, what are community values? They're characteristics that the entire community has in common. So these are traits that are important to everyone in a combined area, not just 1 or 2 people. So These are some pictures from our meetings. This one is 4-H members discussing the REP in their small groups. This one is some of our youth leaders explaining what value setting and youth values are. And then this is also members discussing in small groups. So what did we decide were our community values? So at one of our rural action project meetings, Teller County 4-H members decided on a few values that we all shared and had in common. These characteristics included integrity, family, friendship, faith, tolerance, humor, and kindness. We ended up deciding on kindness as our main value for our rural action project. So these are some more pictures. 4-H members presenting what the sorted values were to our members. A quote about one of our values. 4-Hers sorting through value cards and a list of our more important values that we decided on. So why did we pick these values? A majority of our members picked these values as values when we sorted the cards. They were traits we all shared and had in common that were important to all of us and were important to show through the community. And we also thought that they're lacking in some places of our community. Okay, we decided on Teller Stronger Together because we noticed that each project area of Teller County is separate. There's Woodland Park and then there's Cripple Creek, but they're not really united. And we figured that if we showed more kindness, we might be able to unite the different parts of Teller County. And we thought that inspiring people around us to be kind was the best way to bridge those gaps. Showing kindness was a community value that we all thought was important. So these are the logos designed by our different 4-Hers. You can see these on our t-shirts. So there's two different designs of the t-shirts. Its main logo is the logo for our Teller Stronger Together, and it's on the back of the blue t-shirt. And then these logos are on the brown t-shirt, and they were our second and third place winners. So the merch that we're selling, adult shirts are $30, youth shirts are $25, stickers, pins, and temporary tattoos are $1 to $4. They're available at Teller County Public Health and at the Teller County Fair, which is July 27th to August 4th. 75% of the proceeds will be split between Community Partnership, Aspen Mind Center, and Teller Senior Coalition. 25% of proceeds will go back to the 4-Hers to continue our kindness work in the community. Donations are greatly appreciated. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Also have a gift for everyone at the table. I see that Commissioner Williams is out. I will be happy to bring that to him at our Board of Health meeting, unless you guys want to hold it hostage. Remember next time you see it. Okay, so I'm gonna have him do that. And then we have some kindness pins that Hildred created. This was a donation from Hildred that we're trying to pass out and make sure that everyone in the community has one, and then has another one to give out when they see somebody acts of kindness. So how about you guys go around to non-4-H families that are on the air and pass them out. I think that one will go to Administrator Herzog, that shirt.
Thank you.
That one will go to Attorney Herco, sitting next to you. This one will go to Chairman Campbell. Okay. Maybe we hold Commissioner Williams hostage, his shirt.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Okay, now if I can have all the 4-H kiddos quietly line up. We're gonna have each kid come up and introduce themselves. 2 seconds, you are 4-H, and then. Thank
I'm gonna try
you.
to put 'em- We'll see if it goes on over another t-shirt and a shirt at a time.
You style of work coat there.
Yeah. Let's see. All right, it works. Nothing to tuck it in. It's kind of like wearing a vest. What do you think?
We don't focus on this. That's nice.
That's what I was thinking. Not sure my wife is, but you know, not going to a wedding, so.
So now you know why I asked for your t-shirts.
Figured something was up with.
Yeah.
Time.
I think that'll make a great picture.
Hi, my name is Garrett Hall. I'm 11 years old, and this will be my third year in 4-H. My projects are how to get beef, breeding beef, and welding. 4-H and what 4-H means to me is getting out to the community and basically just helping people in need and getting smaller names out into the community. And then, yeah. Hi, my name is Abby Sacco. I'm 15 years old. This is my 7th year in 4-H. I'm doing breeding rabbit and leadership. 4-H is my opportunity to make myself better and get better at leading people and helping others to be the best versions of themselves.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is James Loring. I am 11 years old, and this is my 3rd year in 4-H. I am doing companion rabbit, breeding rabbit, and breeding goat. What 4-H means to me is I can make friends easier, and like I can find a lot of things that me and my friends have in common with 4-H. So, 4-H means coming from the idea of community.
That's good.
Hi, my name is Kennedy. I am 11 years old. This is going to be my 8th year in 4-H. I'm doing food canning, sewing, quilting, cake decorating, and I think that's it. 4-H means to me is it helps me with my public speaking. Thank you.
My name is Alex Fox. This is my 2nd year in 4-H, and I'm doing market swine and woodworking. To me, 4-H means taking responsibility for all your projects, like making your animal project or taking care of your animals. 4-H also has taught me good communication skills that have helped me throughout the rest of my life. 4-H is important because it teaches you a lot of valuable skills and gets you connected with your community. It also teaches you good financial skills.
My name is Parker Dillon. This is my 2nd year in 4-H. This year I'm completing market swine. What 4-H means to me is learning about my community and all the different people you can meet along the way.
Simon Stotts, this is my 3rd year in 4-H. I'm 17. And I'm doing woodworking, metalworking, market swine, and market sheep. And to me, what sheep being part of a really close community where everybody's really nice and really, really supportive, and it helps get kids out into the community and make friends and help with public speaking and everything like that. And it just
helps people get ready for the future. There's no way being confused.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Bailey Gilly. This is my first year in 4-H and I'm 8 years old. And I am doing market sheep project and 4-H means to me, how your animal improves from day one training to day, to fair. It's just amazing. Hi, my name is Gage Hall. I am 9 years old and this is my first year in 4-H. I'm doing market beef, breeding beef and welding. And what 4-H means to me is being able to spread kindness and being able to spend time with my animals. Thank you. Hi, my name is Mindy Orm. I am 14 years old. This is my 9th year in 4-H. I am in veterinary science, art, cooking, breeding rabbit, market rabbit, and companion rabbit. And to me, 4-H means connecting with good people and helping people. My name is Jax. My favorite part of 4-H is playing with my friends. I'm do the robotics. And entomology projects. I build robots and other things in the robotics projects. I like robots because I get to make things I learned. And catch bugs in entomology. I like catching bugs in entomology. I need So this is one of his activities that he made in his project. Hello, I'm Alexa and I am doing leadership and clothing construction and I'm in my 3rd year of 4-H. And what 4-H means to me is just basically a place where we learn life skills and get out to the community. Okay, this is my 10th year of 4-H. I'm doing international foods, quilting, self-determined, and clothing construction. 4-H means to me that I get to hang out with some of my 4-H friends, be with my family. That's all I love about 4-H. Hi, my name is Maddie. I'm 10 years old and I've been in 4-H for 3 years. I'm taking breeding heifer, market swine, and painting. 4-H means to me that helping the community clean up and helping with leadership. Friendly, I'm 14 years old. This is my 3rd year in 4-H. I am in breeding swine, market beef, and veterinary science. 4-H means to me learning great life skills for when you're an adult and also being the very community and yeah.
Hello, my name is Slayton. I am 18 years old. This is my 11th year in 4-H. I am doing 2 self-determined projects. And what 4-H means to me is I can have something that I can like do my own way with my self-determined. They were something that I chose and something that I'm passionate about. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Sutton Strait. I have been in 4-H for 4 years. And my projects are sewing and skeetering. What I like about 4-H is helping out the community. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jada Loomis. This is my 3rd year in 4-H. I am 12 years old and I am taking market beef, breeding beef, and market swimming. And what 4-H means to me is helping out my community and learning the value of the dollar. Thank you very much.
My name is Storm Strait. I've been in 4-H for 5 years now. I'm taking market beef and woodworking. 4-H has taught me lifelong skills that I will use way down the road and continue. It has also given me leadership and citizenship skills. And it has helped me continue to grow my business and get as far as I have been.
I want to just personally thank each and one of you. I know it's hard to get up in front of a microphone in public. It takes some skills and it takes some learning. So as you get older and older, it'll become more comfortable. But thank you for taking the time and the guts to stand up and say that. I really appreciate it.
Great time for a quick.
Sure. We're going to do both levels. Bring them in. Maybe anything put that in here. I already think that's one.
Maybe our senior age kids can be in the back row.
Yeah, it's the back over there. Nice. That's
No, I.
Find a window. How are you up? Want to get one of the there you go. Say avocado. Right, I get trying to get one last person there. All right. Take 2. Here we go. Smile, everyone. I've got like 60 pictures. Anyone else like to take a picture quick?
Oh, here, okay.
Also very.
You're too close. 1, 2, 3, big smile. Thank you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Hey, Brad. You ready for the fair? All right. You ready for the fair too? All right. You did a great job. All right, we're not gonna try. We can guys both in the hand. That's a great job. Good job. Great job. Thank you. Great job today. What's your? Great job.
Please,
Thank you. That's awesome. Thank you. You're gonna need two people. Thank you. Somebody get this.
Of this year.
Yes.
Looking for, we have everyone in the room.
Okay.
That's fine. We will go ahead and substitute some next items before we have the 10 o'clock on next up. We will continue with the grant appointment of Carl Anderson to the county board of review. Yeah. We have a letter of interest from Carl Anderson to continue his appointment to the Teller County Board of Review. It's expressed his interest in the letter that we have in the packet. If we have any questions based on submission, he's been serving on the board for quite a few years. And he's a valuable member in building materials and construction trades, so. These days, been on the board probably over 12 years, maybe longer than that. He served as vice chair in the past, as chair, regularly attends those meetings. He's adds a lot to the board review process, so. Certainly recommend that he be reappointed.
And I have no comments on it other than to say I appreciate Mr. Anderson's service on board review for many years. He's been a pillar on that board, and appreciate him and his willingness to continue to serve. And with that, I would move to reappoint Carl Anderson to the board of review for, trying to look at the term date.
I don't think it's not there. It's typically a 3-year term, so it would. He expires August, and then you pick up September for 3 years.
Okay, so I would move to reappoint him for a successive 3-year term.
I will second that motion. Any discussion needed? Roll call, please.
Mr. Stone,
Yes.
Mr. Wendell,
Yes. Thank you. We need to do some business items. I'm going to do something important next. Okay, check the things in the room. Next up, we'll consider an item from the assessor's report as the submission to the 2024 preliminary annual report to the BoCC pursuant to statute 39-815 of the CRS. Carol, assessor.
Good morning, Carol Kittleson, Tulare County Assessor. This is the annual report to the BoCC. The valuation for assessment of all taxable gross property on July 5th, 2024 is $785,548,120. The valuation for assessment of all taxable personal property on July 5th, 2024 is $96,582,250. The assessor received 35 protests for 2024. Agricultural, 2 adjusted, 2 total. Commercial, 1 adjusted, 1 total. Personal property, 3 adjusted, 3 in total. Residential, 9 adjusted, 6 denied, 15 total. And vacant land, 6 adjusted, 8 denied, 14 total. Which gives us 21 adjusted, 14 denied, and 35 total.
Do I assume based on the owner's assessment that sometimes those denied ones will come to us in the BOE? Depends on if they submit.
Yes, and sometimes the adjusted ones will as well. They may not like it adjusted as much, but typically we have about 10% that come from the assessor level that come to CBOE. So we're probably looking at 3 to 4 this year.
Okay, and that comes up in the next week or so, correct?
Yes, sir, that's.
All right. Any questions, Chris?
I don't have any questions, just want to say I appreciate the work of your department and of course you as well. Yeah, I think you did a fabulous job of communicating the challenges that everybody was going to face in the county in regards to property valuations increasing significantly here in the county. And I think the overall numbers of these really goes a lot to that educational effort that you guys made, and also just the ongoing customer service that you provide and explaining how things work. So these numbers could have been a lot higher in regards to just the total number of protests that you received. So kudos to you and also to your staff for doing a great job of educating and communicating.
Oh, thank you. It is an intervening year, so it does tend to be a lot lower on the intervening year, but it has a lot of changes last year as well, so.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So, with respect to the appeal that's on the agenda, my understanding is that Mrs. Spears indicated she was going to attend. There's a little traffic out there at the moment, so, Mr. Mason, is that, okay, so we have Mr. Mason is present. My suggestion would be to go to business items, work ththrough those to allow time for Mrs. Spears. If that's okay.
I have no objection.
Mr. Chair, that works for me. All right, Mr. Herzog, we will start with some commissioner business items, and we'll come back to the previous agenda item.
Thank you, sir. These are your commissioner business items for Thursday, July 11, 2024. Item number 1, consider approval of an MOA between Teller County Public Health and Environmental Cripple Creek Victor School District has been scratched. So we removed it until we get more information on that one, sir.
All right,
And item number 2, consider approval of a lease agreement with the Cripple Creek Victor School District was connected with that. So until we get a few more details, that one was also tabled to a later date, sorry. Moving on to item number 3, consider approval of a professional service agreement with Penrad Imaging LLC. Penrad, we go to page 15, what's the scope of services? They're accepting parental and women's health referrals and provide follow-up to women's health procedures not possible in Teller County Public Health and Environmental Office. The procedures include, but are not limited to, colonoscopy for women and abnormal pap smear for pelvic exam results. These are just services we're looking to add. It's a service to provide the community and contract, no concerns with it, sir.
and I think we do this one on a regular basis.
Yeah, it's renewable.
Mr. Stone, any questions?
I don't have any questions.
Great.
And so, Mr. Chair, I would move to approve the professional services agreement with Penrad Imaging LLC, along with any modifications requested by the contractor approved by the county attorney.
I will second that motion. So we no other discussion, roll call please.
Mr. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Kim?
Yes.
Moving on to item number 4 is consider approval of professional service agreement with SRI Incorporated. This is the service that does our tax lien auction. It is a renewal. I would caveat that we just on page 14, the scope of services on attachment A just need to be updated for year 2024, not 2023. Other than that, the payment schedule will include that as well. So it's with the renewal, they just didn't switch the year over, but no other concerns. They've done a great job in the past for us.
I happen to be very familiar with this process, and as usual, there are no direct costs to the county. The people purchasing the property pay the fee to the SRA auction group. And the county treasurer's office just administers part of the process while the auction program is going on, so necessarily have any additional questions. It's been the same for 10 or 11 years, something like that, so.
Yeah, I don't have any questions and, the performance by the company, I think, kind of goes without saying because it seems to have been conducted very smoothly over many years. So I don't have any questions.
Right,
So with that, I would move to approve the professional services agreement with SRI Incorporated as amended and along with any modifications requested by the contractor and approved by the county attorney.
I will second that motion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Stone,
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes,
Okay, moving on to number 5 is consider approval of a special events permit for Paradox Beer Company for their annual Smoking the Youth Pass Summit and Barbecue Competition. This is to occur at Paradox outside in their parking lot area on August 18, 2024. There is a map outlining where the placement of items will be. It did go through our sheriff's office, parks and transportation, the right of way supervisor, public works, public health and environment, and our OEM. There were just a few notes noted from environmental health, just making sure that there was ample wash stations available for the public while they're there.
and I think this is an annual event for them, and it's pretty much is on property, but since it may impact some of the goings on, we apply for a special use permit every year, a special events permit. I didn't have any questions, Mr. Stone. Any questions?
I don't have any questions. I just wonder why this wasn't on the main agenda. It's a pretty good event, but no, I don't have any questions. It is a great event. I actually had the pleasure a few years ago of serving as a judge on that one, and as painful as that was, it was painful because you have to actually eat a little bit of everything, and it's a lot. But that being said, it's a really great event. They raise a lot of money for some good causes. So with that, I would move to approve the special events permit for Paradox Beer Company for the annual Smoking the Youth Pass Summit and Barbecue Competition as presented.
I will second that motion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Stone,
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes,
Okay, moving on to item number 6 is consider approval of a statement of work for the child fatality prevention system. The goal of this is to create healthy, thriving, and resilient communities by preventing child deaths in Colorado due to unintentional injury, homicide, motor vehicle incidents, child abuse and neglect, SUID, suicide, undetermined causes. There is a payment, so they're going to provide this service just to oversee anything. The scope of services does have a payment on the last page of $1,062.50 quarterly, so a total of $4,250 annually, and it is monitored by CDPHE as to oversee the program, to check in and monitor it. So no concerns. It's a service. They just trying to prevent child death in the future, of evaluating when there is an incident, how things could go better. So.
and as usual, hopefully we don't have any incidents where this is needed, but life exists and sometimes it does come forward, so. I didn't have any questions. I think this is also another one that we do every year, so.
I don't have any questions, Mr. Chair. Okay. With that, I would move to approve the statement of work for the child fatality prevention system.
I will second the motion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Stone,
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes,
There was listed earlier on the agenda was for item 7 to consider authorizing the Director of Human Services to sign purchase of service contract for core services program. There is some questions on that moving forward, and we also, in addition to that, sir, because you sit on the board, we thought it'd be great if when Commissioner Williams is back, to do a full vote of the 3 of you.
that works.
That works for me.
Other than that, there's no additional administrative matters that were received after the agenda deadlines.
All righty. Thank you so much, Mr. Rosar. And we'll take a brief recess, you think, or if you want to.
I think it'd be appropriate, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, at this point, we'll call a brief recess and then we'll come back to our regular agenda. Board review item that's on the agenda for 10 o'clock, waiting for our participants to show. We'll adjourn for a recess for 10 minutes. We'll come back.
It's recent, yes, so this is the last piece of.
Repeat, we'll come out of recess. And at this time, we'll start on our agenda item from 10 a.m. Consider an appeal by Flame Master Chimney Sweep LLC and Alan Mason of the Board of Review's revocation of a contractor's license.
And Mr. Chair, so this matter was heard by the Board of Review on June 5th based on a complaint made by Stephanie Deers regarding work on her property at 3374 Twin Rocks Road. The Board of Review materials have been presented to you. The what I'll call the record on appeal was prepared and it is outlined in the letter received or dated June 28th from Gene Snyder, the Teller County building official. The record consists of the complaint against the contractor with Mrs. Deer's attachments, copies of the notice letters sent to Flame Master with the proof of mailing, Board of Review agenda for the June 5 meeting, the building official staff report, transcript. So we did get a verbatim transcript of the Board of Review hearing, and that is in the record provided to you. The written appeal submitted by Flame Master Chimney Sweep. Then the relevant sections of the building code, so that would be Article 1 regarding appeals, and then Article 2, Section 107, which is the listing of the available actions that may be taken on a contractor's license. And then today we were able to provide the board and to Mr. Mason a copy of the minutes of the Board of Review meeting, which were reviewed and approved by the Board of Review yesterday at their July meeting. So that is the record that was provided to you, on or about June 28th. So you had time to review that. This is a review de novo based on the record. So that means that Board of County Commissioners makes its own new independent decision, but you base it upon the record that I just described to you, provided to you. So Mr. Mason, our Flame Master, is not able to present any new evidence to you today. And it is simply based upon the record. If you may allow him to make a brief statement, at your discretion. And that is the outline of what's in front of you for this particular review of the Board of Review's decision.
Thank you, Mr. Hercom. Before we start, do you have any questions, Mr. Stern?
I don't have any questions. We have I think a complete record, as county attorneys pointed out. I guess we just need to hear from our appellant. Thank you.
Yes.
For giving me the right.
Mr. Mason, would you like to make a statement on the record?
I'm not sure that made the recording, but I don't have any questions. Okay. All right, my microphone was pointed over.
Good morning. I don't do a lot of public speaking, so if I stutter and stammer a bit, I
That's fine,
apologize.
perfectly acceptable.
I believe that this is just a contract dispute essentially. I have completed 55 to 65% of the work. And I have tried to talk to Mrs. Deers about us reaching some type of settlement. Mrs. Deers flat refuses to discuss anything, any kind of a settlement. And I've been waiting for her to take me to court because I know that in the court of law, she will not be awarded 100% of the money that she wants to get back because I've done so much of the work already. In my statement that I wrote, I said that I didn't believe that I violated any rules as far as getting permits. The crown work is just a removal and a replacement. It is not, it's not structural work. And the as long as I've been in this business, which is approximately 24 years, I've never pulled a permit to replace a crown, or even a firebox. It is considered repair work. It's my understanding has always been that if we're ripping down the entire chimney, then we would need to pull a permit for that. But as far as doing the repair work, as long as I've been in this business, I've never pulled a permit, and I'm not aware of any other chimney sweep who's pulled a permit just to remove one crown and put another one on. And so I didn't feel that I was breaking the rules. I wasn't here because I am essentially, the business is non-functioning. I'm earning basically enough money to keep paying the bills barely, and so I'm checking my PO box about once a month. I was informed that this meeting was taking place when it was taking place by a fellow named Tim Stack, who was here, who was there doing some business, who's a friend of mine, who texted me and said, hey, you need to get to this meeting, and there was just no way I could get there quick enough. I certainly would have been there to try to defend myself. The other thing that I'd like to say is that in trying to communicate with Mrs. Deers on approximately the 18th of September, while we were working on this job, she had previously mentioned asbestos, and that she said that it was properly abated, and I said to her, if the asbestos was properly abated, why is there drywall dust everywhere in the house? And so I have asked on several occasions for the name of the contractor, the testing results, because they're supposed to do testing results before and after, and being aware of how asbestos is taken care of, they wall off rooms completely, and then when they're completely done, they wipe it down with a damp cloth, and then they retest to make sure that all of the asbestos has been removed. She says that that was done. But I can't get any proof or evidence that it was, and I brought 4 people, not including myself, so 5 altogether, into the home. We've had high-powered vacuums operating in there. We've blown dust all over, and we weren't notified about it until sometime after we started the project. And so I'm concerned for my health and safety and my employees that worked with me on the job, that we've been exposed to asbestos. And so I refused I believe on the 5th or 7th of December, I believe I refused to return to the job until I had some kind of evidence that this had been done properly. And she said at that point that she was going to hire an engineer because we had found some more damage. She was going to hire an engineer to find out if the whole structure needed to be torn down. And I have never spoken to her since, except an email or text that I got from her that said that she was unhappy with the steel we left in her backyard from ripping out a firebox. And she would like me to come get that steel and refund her 100% of her money, which I just feel is unreasonable.
Anything else that, Mr. Mason?
I don't believe so unless you folks have
Okay.
questions.
I do have a couple of questions. One, County Attorney, if I may, Mr. Chair.
Sure.
Just for the record, the action of the county commissioners today, we are, again, we are hearing an appeal, so this is a quasi judicial function. commission, correct? So because of that, and I understand your stated reasons for not attending that meeting. And the problem that I have in reviewing this, in that quasi judicial decision is that I'm sitting and you're here today and you've made a case about some information that, that isn't part of the record. Is that the consideration that I can take is only based upon the record. And the record is, obviously that you weren't there to present that information that you just gave us. And that's a problem. So I guess the additional question is from a process standpoint, that should the Board of County Commissioners uphold the ruling of the Board of Review, what would the future potential actions or for this contractor be? I mean, obviously there's a period of time where it could come back and apply again should it be upheld for a new license. But is there anything beyond us?
Oh, in terms of, so
I'm
if,
not asking you to give legal advice, I'm just from my own personal knowledge.
yeah, this decision,
What's the process as we continue to move forward? Should it be upheld?
sure, if, whatever decision is made here, the appellant has the opportunity to appeal that further to the district court. So there's that on the legal side of things. On the contractor side of things, if the license is revoked, then to get licensed to do work in Delaware County, you have to go back to the building department, apply for a license and go through their process on license.
Thank you.
May I make one other quick statement?
Based on what?
It's just about my license itself.
Go ahead.
My actual builder's license expired on 4/4 of 2024. So it shouldn't have been subject for loss anyway, in my opinion.
Mr. Hercombe, is it pertinent, is that accurate that if there was no license, then no revocation can take place? Because if there's no license, is there anything to revoke?
Well, then there's another issue of violating the building code by working without a license.
Correct.
So that's another issue, and don't believe, I'm just checking the record here. Don't recall that as a point of discussion during the hearing with the Board of Review. And I'm looking at the building official staff report prior to that meeting, and it doesn't mention in the written staff report that the license had expired. So
I believe that somebody asked in that meeting if the license was still in effect. Someone else said that it was, but that was not correct. In my opinion.
So the, based on the record, there wasn't anything in the record presented to the Board of Review about the expiration of the license, but it does, if that is indeed the case, raises a different question and a different potential action against the contract.
So I'm just, putting on my judge hat here.
Well, and as I say that, thinking out loud with the chronology, I don't know if any work was done after April 14th.
It was not.
So,
Right.
so that's a factor that
Okay.
and I believe there probably is a chronology in the documents, separate from what Mr. Mason may say today. So I can confirm that.
So, I'm sorry, what was your question?
Yes, the building official might be able to clarify that for us.
Okay, and with that would be not outside of this information that we have here, or I just want to be careful about what we're considering.
Yes, that would be, that is a fact. And I can check, I can check through the record and see if there's any indication in the record about the dates of work. And also any indication about statement on the expiration of the license.
And kind of as a follow-up is, should the decision to revoke be upheld and the date of the expiration of the license, I guess if appealed to district court, does that make it moot?
That I don't know, I haven't dealt with that before. It would be, I don't necessarily get moots it, because there's, there were some findings made by the board of review. That could be relevant to a future application for a license with the county. And there is a potential that that's moved if he doesn't currently have a license, is not even applying for a license. Those facts might make it for the legal challenges.
Right, and I think it's, likelihood though, is within our authority to state that it's moot, or would that be something that would go to a district court would decide?
Another thing you could do is if that fact were not developed by the board of review, you have the ability to send it back to the board of review to say with that question, for limited amount of reopening that record so that it's then clear for them and clear for this.
Okay.
Ms. Snyder, could you come up?
Yes, sir.
Could you explain the status of the license and do you have any dates or knowledge?
Yes, during the board of review, towards the end of the process, during the appeal, or the complaint, I should say, during the board of review, it was asked if he had a current license. I originally said yes, it was current. Lisa Hookman, our permit technician, clarified that it had expired in April. However, the board did consider that the fact that the work was done prior to the license expiring, building permits were required for that work that was performed. Permits were not pulled, inspections were not scheduled. And the fact that Mr. Mason is still saying that he's doing a little bit of work just to keep the bills paid concerns us because we don't have a license. And at this time, even if it had not been revoked, he still wouldn't have a license because it wasn't renewed. So those are our concerns.
Thank you.
May I address that?
If we can strictly based on what she had said on.
Okay, I clean and inspect chimneys. So I have not completed any installs or done anything that requires a license. Again, in my opinion, I clean and sweep chimney systems and inspect them. And that's my understanding is I'm not required to hold a license to do that work.
Thank you.
So.
But you're welcome to remain up there if we have any further questions, but yeah, but right now, as is probably obvious, my only overall, I don't want to say concern is that the quandary in my head as to whether or not with the action to revoke a license, which is not currently valid, whether that would be that we throw it back to board of review to see if the action is appropriate based upon perhaps information that they may not have had clearly in their meeting. and whether or not that action that's being, the action taken by the board of review, which was, to revoke, was a proper action. I'm not debating anything about any of the evidence that was presented to the board of review about the complaint. I think that the evidence presented for that is what it is and is apparent in front of us. I'm stuck a little bit.
Yeah, I understand, and there's also a question about the, requirement of permit. Well, no one's, the question of whether work had to be permitted, the evidence on the record from the building official is, yes, a permit needed to be pulled. And then, appears to be a question right now whether current work that Mr. Mason's doing requires a license. That I defer to the building official on what is required there. That could be something that you also ask the board to review with additional time for the building official to give them that information, and they can then decide, okay, what action do we take now if the license expired? Is there new work? Has any work occurred after that time, separate from the deer's complaint? This is a, this potential issue been brought to the building department's attention. So that would help clean up the issues and for board review to read it.
I guess I have another question for Ms. Snyder. She's able to, I'm sorry to bring you back.
Here.
If a current license has expired, what's the process to re-up that license on renewal, even if it's late? Do they have to reapply, or do they have a window that they can bring that license current or not?
They have to reapply. It's a specialty D license that is non-structural work only, for fireplaces, chimneys, etc. And that would need to be emailed in, fees paid. That's something that I approve. If we go into structural repair, that's a different license, but they would have to go in front of the board of review and have as an examinee responsible party.
Okay, if any other contractor, any other license is like 3 weeks late renewing their license, do they start all over, or is there a window that they can make that current by paying the fees, showing their insurance, et cetera?
They have to reapply once it's expired.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I'd ask your forbearance for a moment here. I'm going to reread through the transcript. Look at this question about whether or not board of review was aware of the status of the license.
I think I just found that.
See a question about
On page 23 of the transcript, and then at the bottom of the page, it's BOR 069.
Okay.
There, line 17, I asked a question, the building department can also verify that, notify him, include the license number in that notification. Line 20, unidentified female speaker, I believe it's Miss Lisa Hooker from the building department, stated his license just expired for liability insurance. And then there's some inaudible discussion, and I believe that was discussion between Ms. Hookman and Ms. Snyder about the status of the license being expired. Unfortunately,
okay, I do see that. When it says, or when the person spoke and said the license expired and it said for liability insurance, what does that refer to in your opinion?
That I don't know. Could be in addition to license could have expired, and then also the liability insurance that typically is a 1-year liability proof of insurance provided to the building department. During the board of review hearing, Ms. Hookman was able to get onto the building department's website, or their not their website, but their information, because we were missing the license number. And then during that, when she was looking for the license number for the contractor, that's when she stated, that the license had expired.
Okay.
And I don't believe there was a discussion about the date. It might have been in the inaudible section there, but it was not, the date of the expiring of the license was not then discussed by the Board of Review, because this was happening at a time when we discussing the form of the motion to make, and the name of the contractor, the contractor license.
Would it be appropriate to ask you a legal, opinion on this subject of the date of expiration? Or would that be information not part of this package?
Well, I think there is, if there's a specific question seeking legal advice on it, we could do an executive session or an open session here. Could be a discussion about framing that as an issue to send back to the Board of Review for further exploration on this particular issue and how that may frame their decision, whether it stays the same or doesn't stay the same.
Okay. But with that, my suggestion would be that we recess to executive session in order to receive legal advice from the county attorney on this issue. Specifically on the issue of the date of expiration and the relation to the action taken and the authority of the board under that. Is that transparent enough for the record, sir?
It is, I'm just gonna check to make sure.
That wasn't a motion, I guess that was a suggestion. I guess I would make that as a motion.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna double check on, the form of the motion that we'll use and yes, what I would just add to that is that, so the form of the motion would be to go into executive session pursuant to Colorado Revised Statutes, section 24-6-4024, for the purpose of a conference with the county attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice on the impact of the expired license on the Board of Review's action to revoke the contractor's license.
That would be my motion then.
And I will second that.
And
Roll call.
Yes.
Mr. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
the time. Hack here, 10:50. So 10:50 will recess, go to executive session, and then we will return shortly, back into open session.
11:04. All right, we're back in open session. Time is now 11:04. The board executive session has concluded. And we are now back in open session. You said that. While in executive session, the board did not take any formal action and did not adopt any policy, position, resolution, rule, or regulation. For the record, any person who participated in the executive session believes that any substantial discussion of any matters not included in the motion to go into executive session occurred during the executive session, or that any improper action occurred during the executive session in violation of the Colorado Open Meetings Law. I ask you now to state your concerns for the record. Hearing none, the agenda item continues. And we're back open for the hearing.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Sure.
So the question that I'm unable to answer as a county commissioner is in regards to whether or not there is authority by the board of review or county commissioners as its as the appealing body has the authority to repeal a license or revoke a license which is expired. And so because of that, I'm going to move that we remand this appeal back to the board of review for consideration of that authority. Is that a clear enough motion, Mr. Kirkham?
It is, I think you do want, to clarify that that's the specific issue for review at the board of review and not a reopening of the entire matter.
Correct. I don't think, yeah, there's nothing about the evidence that's been presented to suggest that there's any evidence there that was improperly submitted or anything. So I think the only question before us that we can't get past at this point without further review and remanding back to the original board is whether or not the timeline between the expiration of the license and whether a revocation is an appropriate legal action.
I will second that motion. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Stone,
Yes,
Mr. Campbell.
Yes. All right.
I want to thank staff for their work on this and thank you, Mr. Mason.
Thank you.
For coming in today. Obviously, a legal question that needs to be addressed. And so if you would please, number one, extend our thanks to the Board of Review for their time on or bond, you as staff as well. And hopefully communicate to them that it's legal clarification and not any criticism whatsoever of the work that was there.
And if I may, I believe the next board of review meeting is August 4, is that correct?
There's a third or the fourth, it's that
So
Wednesday.
I believe we may have time to get on that one, but for Mr. Mason, I'll confer with, Ms. Snyder about that, and then there'll be a notice. But it's typically the first Wednesday of every month.
Okay.
And, you will find out about that, and so that you have an opportunity to attend that.
The first Wednesday would be August 7th.
Yes, August 7th, I'm sorry, yes.
Yes,
I'm still thinking about my vacation days, August 3rd and 4th, so I'm sorry.
Got it. Yes, I'm thinking that will give us ample time, but if
It will.
not, we'll let you know, Mr. Mason.
And just
Okay.
from a process standpoint, Mr. Herc, I'm assuming if it being remanded and revisited, is there another official certified notification that needs to go out to the applicant?
Yes.
And that will occur
Yes.
done by staff. Correct. So check your mail.
I'll be looking for it, yeah.
All right. For today, that concludes that hearing item. We am considering the appeal. We have covered the regular agenda items and we have completed the commissioner business items. Is there anything else to be brought in front of the board?
No additional matters, sir.
All right, I have 11:08. We will adjourn this regular county commission meeting.